I'm going to get you acquainted with some of the components of the violin. Now this is, as you know, the violin. Okay, so this is the chin rest here. Okay, so that's where you rest your chin, like that. Now it's a good idea when playing the violin to have a chin rest, okay? So it rests on your shoulder like that. Now, as you can see from these two, there is a variety that suits every person's need when playing the violin. This, for example, is quite a nice one, and I'll show you how you can attach it to your violin. Okay. Okay, so these are the grips. So when you put them on, make sure that they're on the right side. Okay, so what you can do, so you can adjust it like that. Okay, and then put them on your shoulder like that, so you can balance it. Or the one that I normally use is this one, which is a little bit more slender than the other one. It's much more thinner. Okay, and so basically you're aiming for the bigger, fatter bit here to be on this side, okay, because it helps you in balancing as well as positioning your violin that is most comfortable for you, because you are going to be putting it on your shoulder area here. Okay, so there you have it. Okay, shoulders down like that, and you've got your chin resting on your chin rest there. Okay, now the higher bit is the scroll. Okay, so it's called a scroll because, as you can see, it's neatly just coiled around. This violin was actually made for me from somebody, a guy called Philip in Newbury. So the scroll is this bit here, which then goes into the peg box, which we're already acquainted with because of putting the strings onto the violin. Now the black bit here is the fingerboard. So this is where you can place your fingers. Okay, like that. And incidentally, that's first position. Okay, so as you can see, that these are the F holes, and this is where the sound of the violin comes out. Okay, the little F holes, because they've got little slight indentations, they've got little fancy fancy Fs, I'll call them fancy Fs. And this is the bridge, okay, which is where the strings settle and holds everything into place. So as well as balancing the strings on there, and the peg box holds the higher strings up there. Okay, and then that is to hold the strings and the fine tuners. Now on some violins they have these fine tuner adjustments on these little holes here. Okay, but my violin doesn't have that, but your violin probably will, and this is just to make the strings sound as they should do, without it sounding flat or sharp. But later on, when I'm talking to you about tuning, I'll show you a little cheaty little way on how you can actually either flatten a string or sharpen a string without having to worry about the fine adjustments down there if you don't have it. Okay, and that is the violin body. Of course, you can hold your violin like that. It's much more safer than holding it by the scruff of the neck. So violin like that, and that's the back of the violin. You put it onto like that, and always make sure that your head is straight when you're playing. So I'm sitting down at the moment, okay, but in actual fact, if you were standing up, you have your legs apart like that, okay, in like a V shape on the floor. Yeah, back straight, your neck straight, and you hold the violin like so. Now what's also very important with a violin is the bow. And so this here is a bow. Okay, so as you can see, you've got the wooden bit here, and the frog bit here, which is towards the bottom. And so later on in advanced lessons, you can hold the bow like so. But when I first started, I was told to put my thumb on that bit there and have my fingers wrapped around the bow like that, but that seems quite odd to me now. I'm much more used to this way, which is probably the right way in actually holding it. And make sure your hand or wrist doesn't ever slope to like that, because you need proper control on the bow, okay? And so it's all like so, okay? Now this is the horsehair, so this is, unless stated otherwise on music, written music, this is where the bow hits the string, okay? You use this side unless it's instructed, okay? And it's called legno, and that means hit bow strings with wooden bow side, which is that side. Now, in order to make a violin sound nice and not squeaky, okay, you have rosin. And this is rosin, it's made of beeswax. Don't worry, no bees were harmed in this at all, okay? So what you do is you simply do that. That's all you do. Make sure there's a bit of rosin all the way up to the point. And that's all you do to rosin your bow. So I strongly recommend that you get in touch with your violin and of course the bow, and I'll see you for the third lesson.